All right. Last stream until September. And I actually want to show what my desktop... Oh, my desktop's not showing it now. That's funny. Or is it? 1 second. Yeah, it's trying to prompt me to install Tahoe. I'm not even going to click that business. Oh, I clicked it, but it's not going to actually do anything. All right, I'll probably do the Sequoia update. What up? Happy Sunday. Last week I had to do an event, DJ an event. So today was Saturday was the stream last week. So now we have this stream and then we are off on hiatus until September 6th. Unless time permits that I can jump on and do something in August. I'm not totally sure. That's why I don't want to put any guaranteed schedule for the stream in August. Yeah. Title topic, Sony's ridiculous. So they had, I guess, an 8-hour outage or something to that effect yesterday, which begs the question, why are they getting rid of discs? So stupid. So incredibly stupid. So, I don't know. Yeah, great times. How's everybody doing? Like I said, Sunday. This thing is really bugging me to install Tahoe. And I really don't want to because I'm running Sequoia. The thing is, I have one DJ event I have to do in October. And the problem is the DJ software, it works. And I don't need the upgrades. I hate the liquid glass thing. So I really, really don't want to do that. So yeah, there's all that. So kind of a hot mess in terms of macOS, but whatever. Although I am considering installing the Golden Gate beta, or not Golden Gate, iOS 27, or wow, that's wrong. I need coffee. I've had enough coffee today. The iPad OS 27. I'm debating running the beta on the iPad. Mark Harnum is here. Hey, I know the feeling, don't want to update either. Yeah, but Mark, in some senses, there were updates you should have done. But it's all right, whatever. I mean, if it works for you. Like, especially for the DJ stuff, because it's so, like, the way I always look at it is, like, and Mark knows this, and I'm just saying this for the stream, but, like, if you update and something breaks, the bride or the client or whoever doesn't care about what you did. It doesn't care about the technical issues. Oh, Jason Rowe's here. What up? I was just on the phone with Jason Rowe, who is spending this surprisingly nice Sunday based on the weather, because it wasn't supposed to be as nice as it actually is. He is streaming this on his phone and was doing some car audio install on his vehicle, and it looks pretty sick. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, but like in terms of updates, like, you know, Jason Rowe and I, Mark and I, all of us talk about this ad nauseum, that like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like the cloud gateway that I'm using to do my internet, wow, it's not going to be a very good day for English, apparently. The cloud gateway that runs my internet connection. There has been multiple updates since the one that I have, but Jason's laughing at me. But my thing is I don't want to do those updates because like it works. And the only time the stream is went offline is when I'm the dummy who runs out of hard drive space. So yeah, but like in terms of this thing dying outright because I did a software update is not a thing. So I'm very picky about that. I'm very, very picky about doing firmware updates, software updates, multi-bull updates, multi-bull. This is because of my English, clearly. Anyway, yeah, so have a good talk today. I'm trying to figure out what Sony is thinking. And Mark will have a good laugh about that because Mark's probably sitting there going, I wonder what Sony is thinking on the daily basis. For those who don't know, there was an outage on the PlayStation Network yesterday. I read about this earlier. And given the narrative lately that Sony has decided that their new console will not be disc-based, if you can't get online, you can't play your games because it's going to want to authenticate whatever's on your internal drive on your PlayStation. So basically, until they fix their PlayStation Network, it's almost a brick. There's probably ways you can still use the PlayStation, but I mean, like, it begs the question, like, why are we getting away from discs? Like, if this is a cost-cutting measure, it's pretty stupid. Although, I think the bigger issue they need to address is, like, still give discs, but, like, when you do a software update, like, when you buy a game that's, like, 60 gigs, and then there's an update for it, the update shouldn't be 60 gigs, because you're basically just downloading the game again. You know, they'll save a ton of cost on bandwidth and stuff like that if they were like, okay, like, you know, this update is like 10 gigs. You know, you did the big part of installing the game of 60 gigs. But modern game design, I'm not a software designer or software engineer, so I'm kind of speaking ignorantly about that. But I feel like they're cutting costs in the wrong places. So, like, getting rid of disc based games is pretty stupid. I am looking forward to GTA 6. My Xbox Series X, I typically just play Call of Duty. In fact, I play Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered. There's like probably 15 people playing that game. So it's like the same lobby, like all the time. It's just a fun game, but it's just a way for me to turn my brain off. I actually just renewed it yesterday for a month because of my assignment in August, Mark. When I'm done with work and I have dinner and all that, I'm probably just going to want to veg out and play a little bit of games. So, yeah, that's kind of the only... I literally don't, like, use the thing outside of playing Call of Duty. But GTA will be something fun to turn my brain off for a little bit here and there. So, kind of excited for that. Probably have to delete some games to make some space on the console. That's another problem. So, like, I mean, it's always going to be a thing, but, like, you get games, but you're going to have to install big portions. Last time, oh wait, Mark's chirping me. Last time I played Xbox was NHL, and I beat you 4-3. Yeah. Listen, you don't need to use facts. You don't need to use facts to further the conversation, okay? That's not what we're doing here. Jason Earl says Sony is fried, and also EA seems like streaming is the way, but the RAM for PC is going to force people to console to own nothing and be happy. You know, I saw an article. Apparently this week, there's no guarantee on this, so don't take this as gospel. Apparently, Apple is partnering with Klarna to offer leasing. And I'm guessing that this deal with Klarna is a rushed response to the price of RAM. Here comes a new challenger, Jason. Apparently Jason's like the FIFA god, so I'm not playing him. F that. But also, yeah, Apple is they're partnering with Klarna because they're going to try to offer leased devices, which is going to be cheaper than buying them. You just have to give them back. But like in terms of cost for ownership of 2 years, say you upgrade your phone every 2-3 years, might be cheaper as a leasing program. And then I think Apple's viewing it as like everybody wins in this scenario because you're getting into the Apple ecosystem for cheaper, but Apple is retaining all this extra money. But then, as to Jason's point, you know, you will own nothing and be happy. See, Jason says rent a RAM, and that makes me nervous because he said this out loud. Now it's on the internet. Somebody's watching the stream that's going to be like, oh, at Samsung going, let's go, rent a RAM. It'll be, you know, leased RAM that ends up being the price of what RAM used to be, but you got to give it back. Oh, this future is depressing. So depressing. I hate that the Rampocalypse raised the price of the MacBook Neo by $100 US, which is very annoying. I just noticed that my stream that is playing on the iPad is kind of delayed. I just want to keep an eye on chat on all sides to make sure that I'm interacting in a timely fashion. Hey, my English is back. Let's go. Anyway, yeah. So I don't know. I don't know why Sony's cost cutting in that fashion. There's probably some strategic side of it that none of us can see, and that's why they're doing the things they're doing. But like when you have an outage like that, it's crazy. Not considering that's good marketing. Yeah, yeah, I know. I know. Ugh. Listen, this M3, not M4, not M5, this M3 MacBook Pro has 128 gigs of DDR5. Okay. The M4 MacBook Pro has 64 gigs of DDR5. My Hackintosh has 128 gigs of DDR4. This is basically like clutching pearls. Needs a lockbox. Yeah. Yeah, and that's sad. Remember back in the day, I think the three of us, Jason Rowe, myself, and Mark Harnham, we're old enough to remember computers with the key lock on the front to like stop people from powering it up or doing whatever, or turning it off or whatever. Now we're gonna need that lockbox thing on the side panel so nobody can get to our RAM. That is awful. I remember Linus had a video a long time ago, like, would you download more RAM in this economy? Wow, that's pretty sad, but it is what it is. Yeah. So, besides the dystopian sadness of the Rampocalypse, how's everybody's Sunday going? What's going on? What's new and exciting? Mark is all happy because he's gearing up for a vacation, so that's fun. I may only take a couple days off after he's back. So Mark, heads up, I'm probably taking a couple days off when you're back. What else? Oh, this is on stream topic anyway. So you see this mat, this gloriously, yeah, I have the right scene. This gloriously gray mat. I went on Etsy of all places because I was trying to find a gray alternative. Oh, Mark. Speaking of which, you might want to go away for a week in November as well. We'll chat after your birthday. Okay, got it. 10-4. Okay, I'm not adverse to that. Jason's making progress on his outdoor box, or sorry, his speaker box, his stereo rather. Audio will shake up at Tim's. Oh God. Hi, can I get a medium ice cap? Just making everybody's house shake in the vicinity, so that's fun. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I was talking about the mat. So I ended up ordering, it's probably coming at the beginning of August, a light gray mat, because I realized that when I wear dark shirts like this gem, what is it, USB, I'm your father, and the USB is like, no, the shirt is awful. But when I wear like darker shirts, I don't look like I'm blending into the table. And also when you like do the overhead and you have product, like most electronics tend to be darker colors, like the Stream Deck, and it doesn't really pop off the screen. So I'm hoping that when I get the gray mat, which is the same size as this one, I have had this like thing in my throat for like a couple days. It's driving me nuts. I don't know if this is related to the wildfires or what's going on, but I'm apologizing now for the excessive coughing that may or may not continue to occur on stream. But yeah, the reason I need the mats, because if I take the mat out, I get wicked reflections and reverb coming off the table underneath. So I use this mat and a sound blanket, and yeah. But yeah, so when the stream comes back on September 6th, expect that this should, all things go right, that this should be a different color mat. I shot a video, the video that I kept talking about, I shot everything without the mat. So I actually have to, like, to finish it, there's a couple of parts I have to reshoot. So to finish it, I have to take the mat off, put the other mic back up. Actually, I say the other mic, this mic, the Sennheiser, the 416. Put this one back up and use my old audio processing for continuity so that, like, it seems the same. Yeah, the joy of a video editor. Yeah. I'll be honest, if I can be fully transparent for a second about the channel, I'm a little burnt out in terms of tech. Just generally. And it's not because I'm sick of tech or this or that. It's just, I think with all of the, what's it called? All the upheaval when it comes to like Nvidia, Google, AI, pricing of things, accessibility of things. It's becoming a lot and I don't know what to cover. So that one video though is like, it's a set of multiple videos in one, which includes like a link to a Patreon, which is free for the things that I want to show because I can't show them on YouTube. But I think I'm going to open the Patreon, do some BTS behind the scenes stuff. Actually on my alternate Instagram, it's DJ Buddha account, I posted a video from the event I did and it didn't get copyright flagged for some reason. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Yeah. So that's kind of the world of what's going on. So obviously, I have said over the last month that the channel, the live streams are going to take a hiatus. I'm on assignment for Extendamix, so I'm not going to be around. So getting a video done in the next few weeks is going to be rough. I might try to finish it this week. I've been kind of running around doing some stuff, family related stuff this week, and just some other ventures and stuff that I've kind of had to take care of. Mark says, I would be 10 p.m. in Venice I could watch. It would be 10 p.m. in Venice I could watch. I'm assuming you're talking about the streams. Well, the streams aren't going to be on, so yeah. Yeah, it would be. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be streaming from, this is the last one until September. I know that Mark comes back before the end of August, but to be honest, there's still some summer to be had. So like, I'll probably just take a few weeks off of doing the stream, but you never know, something random could pop up like this cough. Oh my God, it's ridiculous. I noticed earlier, I popped out for a walk earlier and I could still smell smoke where I live, which is surprising because for the last like few days I haven't. So I don't know what's happening. Yeah. So Mark Harnum is probably busy working right now because he's a machine. Jason's probably working on his, what's it called? His car audio venture, which is dope. I'm sitting here streaming, just, having a bit of fun. I was going to bring up something. Oh, about Bell. I had a talk with a friend of mine last night. And he has an uncle who lives about, I want to say like 25, 30 minutes away from where we are. Jason says it still smells like campfire here. Yeah, we're getting the same thing up here. It's weird. Mark, where you are, is it still like, are you still getting like the campfire smell? It's kind of weird, but anyway, I was going to say about my friend's uncle. So he's about half an hour from here. He's on Bell, but he doesn't. Mark says it's fine. Yeah, it's like the smoke is going in a certain direction. It's really weird. It's like it's passing my area. It's passing. Well, Jason's out in like near London. So, and I'm not going to say where I am because I don't like saying that on stream. And even though I just said where Jason is, yikes. But anyway, yeah, it's like the smoke is like traveling a certain direction. It's weird. Anyway, my friend here, his uncle is out in London. My friend who's here is a technician for Bell. And for some reason, the AI overlords that are running certain things in the background keep deleting his uncle's assignment. So in other words, here's the layman's term for this. Imagine you're at home and you have Bell Internet and you have Bell TV, just as an example. And you have a Bell cell phone. Well, he tries to call his uncle and it's like this number is not available. And then his uncle has lost internet and all this stuff. Even though he's a paying customer, the assignment in the back end for his profile keeps getting deleted. And he has had a supervisor override this and all this. It's a hot mess. It's just a hot mess. And it makes you wonder, like, this kind of speaks to the conversation we were talking about last week about these telecoms spending money in like the worst possible ways. It's like, try fixing your stuff. Take a page. I hate to be the one to say this, but take a page from Apple. because we all know that like the new Mac OS is hot trash, and Apple has vehemently said that the new Golden Gate or the iOS 27 and all this other stuff is supposed to be just a major bug fix thing and minimal added features, like basically clawing back on stuff that basically broke everything. You know, I don't care about things having to have like a bunch of new features all the time. I'm blessed to even like I'm running macOS Sequoia, which has a ton of features as it is, and it works. Just keep giving me security updates. That's all I want. I don't want all these new extra business. You know, especially if it's going to break like core functionality. That's stupid. That's like kind of what Mark and I were talking about of like, why update? You know, if it works, don't, you know, if it's not broken, don't fix it type of thing. But I wish companies like Bell would just adopt this idea, because the problem is there are paying and the thing is like his uncle is not young. His uncle is in, I think, late 70s, early 80s. Not a super technological person, I believe, and I'm not entirely sure. I think my friend taught him how to use his phone recently. So he's not like tech savvy. And that's fine. But like your inability to fix core functionality is making it so people can't get the services they're paying for. And what's the CRTC doing? Duh, we don't know. Like, come on. You know, so that is hyper annoying. Executing Telecom is messing up in London. I believe it. You know, I was debating, maybe not switching, but getting, what is the company called? I always forget. Telmax. Telmax rolled out in my area. I don't think they dug up my street, but they did every street around it, which is really funny. The Telmax comes here. I might have them run another fiber line into the house and do a whole set of videos on that. Although I heard, yes, they have IPv6, which is good, but they're doing it in a very backwards way, and you will always double NAT no matter how you're connected, which is annoying. With Bell, with the GigaHub and PPPoE, it's like some kind of almost double NAT, but when you bypass, it's not. It's so weird. And then you've got GigaHubs forcing updates, which they should only force updates for like security features, but what do I know? Anyway, yeah, very annoying. By the way, for those listening to me on really good speakers of some sort, how is the audio quality? Because I am so obsessed with this microphone. This thing is great. This MKH 50, some mic I wanted for a long time, and I think it sounds like when even my lower registers of my voice and all that, I think it sounds really dope. That's one of the things that's kind of driving me nuts about having to go back to this. Not that it's a bad microphone, but my voice doesn't sound great with this microphone in this setting. Outside, it's wonderful. Jason says, need to solve my bypass with camera, doorbell, and TV. Audio is blessed. Beautiful. So the audio sounds good. When I go back to to finish that other video, because I started it with this one, the MacBook Neo is involved, but I can't just reshoot the whole video because I don't have a MacBook Neo anymore. So I can't use this microphone. So I gotta keep up continuity and use this thing. So that's fun. I'm also like very excited to get past this video and then start doing stuff with that workflow with the markers and everything that I was showing with the foot pedal, because that workflow is insane. But I just, you know, it's either like a mental block or it's just like I get really busy or whatever. So that's annoying. Yeah. So I still have to buy one. Oh, good microphone. I'm assuming is what you mean, Jason. Yeah. Yeah, like for me, it's funny. Okay. My first set of videos, the mics were awful. Right? Like I used MacBook Neo. I don't know if you need one, Jason. I think you're going to want more power. I think for the kind of stuff you want to do, I think you're going to want a little more power. You're better off finding like a refurb M4 MacBook Pro with M4 Pro or M4 Max chip. I think that's more your lane because those are great. Speaking of MacBooks and used and stuff, Duke Seb reached out to me asking if I was selling any kind of Apple Silicon, if I had to use one I was selling, I actually want one more machine like that. So for Duke, who I don't know if he's here or not, I see 3 people in here, which could just be me, myself, Jason, and Mark. Yeah, Jason say, okay, got it. Yeah, you don't want to double dip, buy a Neo, and then go like, this is way underpowered. It's good for what it is. I think for a certain sector, they're amazing. Very, very good machines. But I think, pardon me, I think that there's definitely some stuff to be desired if you want to push it a little bit. Not a bad computer. It's a gateway computer. You know, it's to make macOS more accessible. So that's my opinion on it. What was I going to say? I was going to say something about microphones. Right. Okay, so Jason, if you're going to be, I know you want to do sim racing and stuff and streaming. Honestly, is it here? I did the video on the Fine microphone. It comes with the stand. It's like low cost, and for what you're wanting to do once you get your PC straightened out, that thing is amazing. That thing is stupid good. Because I'm doing more of like the talking headset, like where like you see like the whole thing. I didn't let, not to be bougie and be like, I'm an artist and I'm a designer. That's not what I'm getting at. But I like the look of this whole thing. So I didn't want a mic like in my view. Like my first Bell video, you could see my Shure SM7B in the frame, like in my face. Pardon me. And that was a cool video for what it was, because it was like my first video was about the iPhone XS Max, and my second video was about Bell Fiber to the Home. And for what that was, I was just trying to get my feet wet and get on the YouTube. That video did fantastic, you know, all things considered. I had a comment recently. Somebody commented on my DJI mic video. That might be a good option for you for a microphone, like something like these. This DJI mic pack. I don't even know if these are charged. Oh, they are. Yeah. You can literally like take the receiver and you can use one of the outs. Let's focus this. Yeah. You can use one of like the output here or even like the headphone port and basically, you know, wire that into your PC and then just take the actual microphone. This is the first edition of the microphone, but like it's got a little magnet on the back, right? Like you can see this magnet, so you just pull it, and then you would take the mic, chuck it wherever. See, we got our mic here, and I pull the receiver out. My watch is trying to get stuck to the to the magnet on the other receiver, because you get a pair of 2, right? But yeah, and then you get something like this where you've got your audio coming in and it, you know, it's clean relatively. Just make sure you're not clipping it. And you just wire that same thing I was just talking about. Just wire that into your computer, into the mic in. And that's your poor man's way to really good audio. And these DJI, you don't need to get the mic 2. You can just get the original mic 1. You know, if you're streaming, just make sure you're not clipping. You know, which you're going to have that problem streaming anyway with any microphone. Jason says that's cool. Yeah, it's kind of a dope option. You know, in a pinch, they're great. Where are my mic 2s? I think they're in my other... Oh, wait, they might be here. Yeah, I have my mic 2s right here. So this is the second edition of the DJI mic. And it's the same idea. The only major difference that made me buy this microphone set, outside of the, I don't like the transparent look. This isn't 1999 or 2000, but whatever. They got the branding on here, which I also don't like, because if you pin it on your shirt, you got a big DJI thing sticking up. You could do what the influencers do and just pull, and this also applies to the first one. Let me get the first one here. So like, this is the first model, right? I like the texture better personally. You'll notice that behind this magnetic thing, if I pull it, see that? You could clip it. And what a lot of people are doing, which I'm Not a total fan of. You could clip it to your shirt. You could clip it to the bill of a hat, and so that way the mic capsule, which is like right here at the top. So if you clip it to a hat, you could kind of clip it in a way where like it's facing downward toward your mouth, right? Which I guess is cool. But anyway, what I was saying with the mic 2, the big difference here was that these support 32-bit float audio, which means nothing when you're streaming because it's going to convert it back to a 24-bit or 16-bit. But like if you're recording something that you're going to produce later and do some production on, right? This thing is great because the internal recorder will record in 32-bit float, and if you clip it, for the most part, you just drop the volume in like your Adobe Audition, Audacity, Logic, Pro Tools, Final Cut, like whatever you're using to edit the audio, and it should fix it. Short of like screaming so heavily into it that you're making the mic capsule physically shake. It will fix a lot of things, but the mic 2s are dope for that. But yeah, any option, like if you're streaming, that's probably the way I'd go to start out. Because I mean, you can get the mic 1 if you go on like, one of the marketplaces like Facebook, Kijiji, you'll find people want to get the mic 2 or the mic 3, or their nomenclature for their new stuff is very weird. But yeah, you can get like the mic 1 like used. Make sure it's clean, and you're laughing. The other cool thing is it comes with the wind muffs. I don't have them close by. But basically, on the mic 1, if you look at the top, right? So this silver part is the mic capsule. Okay. Now, if you look inside the mic capsule, I don't know how the focus distance is going to be. I'm going to try to get this in focus. You see those little ridges? It's kind of hard to see. There we go. On each side, there's these 2 ridges. Well, what that is, which is kind of sick, the wind muff that comes in the box for these, it has like 2 little clips, and it's a little circle, and it's like it looks like they call them dead cats. They're basically like they look like a dead cat. It's just like the little wind muff thing. But anyway, it clips in and you turn it and it locks. So if you're walking outside, it heavily reduces the wind noise. So that's pretty cool, Yeah. I don't know. That's my advice. But if I were Jason Rowe right now, I would probably go along the lines of trying to solve the PC issue, because he has a water-built computer, or a water-cooled computer. Water-built, wow. A water-cooled computer, but that computer, it suffered some physical damage. And he's not, because like he had some rentals and stuff, and he had to move it, and he told them like be careful with it, and they weren't, and it's a whole story. But once you solve that, you'll be good. Then you can go to toiling with Windows after that to get your streaming working. But yeah, that's my advice. Something like the MacBook Neo would be cool if you wanted to stream from the MacBook Neo while you were playing the game on your PC. But even then, I would still get a little more of a powerful computer, because then you can do more with it. So that's just my advice. So I see 5 people in chat. For the most part, Mark and Jason are the only ones interacting. But because this is the last stream, I'm opening the floor to topics. So what do you guys want to talk about? And don't do that thing where I'm like, hey, I'm gonna get offline, and then you start coming up with topics, because I won't even say bye. I'll just pull the plug on the stream and be like, yeah, we're done here. So, looking at you, Mark. You guys were doing that last week, which was hilarious. When I said I wasn't going to go to the super limit. If nothing, would you use strong streaming cards? Depends. If you have a good video card, you don't need a crazy streaming card. Oh, Control Atlas is here. Hey. And I know I haven't gotten a hold of you, and I'm going to call you and tell you why I haven't got a hold of you later. I'll call you after the stream. It's all love, but, there's a reason I haven't talked to you. It's all love. Would I use strong streaming cards, Jason asks. Let me see. Okay, if you're trying to get 60 FPS gameplay or 120 FPS and your graphics card can support encoding that, you don't want to stream, you don't want to capture the gameplay like in terms of L2 capture card. You just want to do that internally. But like, do you need like, so the camera that you're looking at right now, like me talking right now, this is not 60 FPS. Do you care whether or not, all good, no worries, I figured. Yeah. Um so to Jason's question. So like looking at this camera right now, okay? This is not 60 FPS. In fact, the whole stream is at 2997. And the reason I do this is because film that you look at is typically 24 FPS, 23976. More for a standalone to take off CPU load. That's what I'm getting at though. So if you're game streaming, if you have an NVIDIA GPU, like a 4080 or 4090 or something, that has hardware acceleration. So there is no CPU load, right? There's like a separate chip on there that's going to handle, and you use NVENC, I believe it's called, the NVIDIA encoder. It's kind of like Apple Silicon in that you use the media engine to encode the stream, right? So like right now, if I go to, it's going to look super messed up, but that's okay. So here, let's go to the weird mirror, but if you look down here, my CPU usage is 16.7. The reason it's so high is because I'm running that denoise compressor. I'm running a bunch of plugins. But if I take those plugins off, that CPU usage is like 2%. It's nothing. So, because it's using the media engine. So you're not really using CPU load. You're saving all your CPU for the game. And your GPU is going to have like graphics. It's not going to use your full GPU to do the encoding. It has a separate ASIC for that, a separate chip on the video card. However, because you're not using a ton, you could use a capture card and a camera to bring yourself in. But then like that's kind of overkill. My recommendation is, I don't want to say Elgato. Like any card that has HDMI. Might use VR as well. Might switch to AMD. Good and better results. Maybe. See, that's the problem, is the AMD versus NVIDIA thing is so subjective, because then if you start messing with things like FSR or like frame generation and that kind of stuff, it's such an arms race. And NVIDIA, as much as I'm not a fan of the idea of frame generation, NVIDIA has been doing it better, it seems like. Although like AMD's making advancements, but they're always like a touch behind of NVIDIA. And like, it may not matter right now for VR. It could later. And again, I haven't kept up with that side of it, so I don't really know. L3 cache helps with VR. Yes, for now. For now. That's what I'm saying, is everything is for now, but you can't really account for that for the future. And then if you invest in VR hardware and you already have an NVIDIA card, I just use that, you know? Yeah, that's kind of what my thought process is. But again, I don't really know. But I would say, like, in terms of the root of this, you don't need to use a capture card. Like, I would just get a camera, like a cheaper Sony or something. You know, I wouldn't use an iPhone because, well, Jay's phone's always dead anyways. So, no, but I would get like a capture card that you can like power with USB-C and then run like, you could power and use as a webcam in OBS, if that makes sense. Jay's laughing because he knows it's true. Right now, Jay's doing car audio stuff, and I promise you his phone's not plugged in, and he will randomly disappear for a little while in chat, and then he'll come back and be like, sorry, bro, phone died. Yeah. Control Atlas, I know, has some pretty cool stuff going on. He hasn't, I know, like, he's told me that he's watched the stream after, but he hasn't been in stream. working on some pretty dope, like, logistical software is the way I'm going to put it. I am not going to describe what it is on stream because I'm going to butcher it. I manage all operations. My phone gets cooked. See, you're the candidate for an iPad, if I'm being honest. Like, not like a M5 iPad Pro, but like something with a keyboard folio where you can just like, you know, if you're doing like work-related stuff and you're doing a bunch of things, you can just do it on the iPad, save your battery on your phone, you know. The only thing that sucks is like, because Jason and I, we both have iPhone 16 Pro series phones and they don't have vapor chamber cooling, which is probably destroying our batteries, especially Jason, because Jason works in the outdoors a lot. Like, so in the summer, it's like that battery is getting destroyed, you know, and then it's constantly getting heated up when you need to use it during the day. Then it's getting heated up again when you're charging it. Or you look at the iPhone 17 Pro series, they have the vapor chamber coolers to cool the battery, cool the processor, allow the screen to get brighter, all that stuff. So, I don't know. Yeah. Wow, the tangents are everywhere right now. Control Atlas still here? Yeah. But yeah, that's my thoughts. You don't need a capture card. Jason Roll, the supers get them. We have to buy ours. Those bastards. Well, no, I would buy something for personal, you know, but like, unless like you really don't need an iPad. I don't know. Maybe it's worth getting an M4 MacBook Pro, just a Pro series, not even a Max series, like a Pro level chip, like M4 Pro, you know, and just putting like a shell case on it and having that in your vehicle for when you need it, you know, just lock that away somewhere when you're not using it. Because having like full macOS is super handy. Control Atlas is back in. It's a tricky one to explain if you haven't spent like 3,500 hours coding it. Pretty much, it's a software that will work for every industry and tailor around that specific industry. Yeah, that's the best synopsis, because I can't, like, I can wrap my head around what you're doing. I can't form it in the words. A friend of mine is working on something that is, I haven't signed anything to say I can't talk about it, so I'm not going to talk about it, but holy crap, if he pulls this off, ooh, it's a dangerous game. It's not related, and Control Atlas, it's not related to what you're doing. Totally separate industry, totally separate thing. But even Control Atlas's stuff is nuts, you know. Plus having all the installation division for all the tech and full general contracting. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, so like in terms of installation division, like the home theater that the one that I was showing off on stream, we know when we did the multi-stream, I say multi-stream because it was like 3 streams because I ran out of hard drive space and everything went to all hell. Yeah, that home theater that was built in this basement was done by Control Atlas. The desk that I use in my main studio, also built by Control Atlas. He's helped with a ton of stuff, you know, so that's amazing. And I'll always endorse what he does. You can say my name, I don't mind. Yeah, but like, that's your brand now. His name's Jerry, but bless. His name's Jerry, but his brand is Control Atlas. So moving forward, like, that's his name in perpetuity. His name is Keyboard Key Atlas. Control Atlas. Yes. Yeah. Jason, you'd like him. You guys would get along. He's you're very different personalities, but I feel like you two will find common ground. Probably on the same stuff that I find common ground with both of you, which is hilarious. Yeah. I don't know what else to talk about because this is the last stream until September. Much love, homie. Yeah, Control Atlas wants to engage in sexual relations. We're not doing that on stream. We'll save that for later. No, I'm totally kidding. Yeek. Yeah. I have dumb jokes. I have really dumb jokes with Jerry. It's a whole thing. Jason's like eyes up. You know what's really sad right now? Control Atlas is laughing. What's sad right now is that Duke's not in the chat to, like, you know, make mention of my, what was it, the OnlyFans feet thing that we were talking about? Control Atlas, I'll catch you up. If you didn't know this is probably One of the funniest things that happened. This was the topic of one of the was it last week? No, it was 2 weeks ago. Okay. So on one side of the internet, you have OnlyFans creators. And on the other side of the internet, you have hackers. Well, and then all over the internet, you have government websites. Understatement. Okay, so this is how stupid this got. Hackers were hacking government websites. In fact, I believe I saw a article, a friend of mine sent me it. It was like a news report for parking enforcement, and you might have seen this. But there's a QR code on the meters to pay for parking in certain areas. I believe in Ontario, I think. But when you scan the QR code, it's just porn. Here's where it gets even funnier. So the hackers are they're hacking government websites. They're uploading pornography to the government websites. But this is the twist. The OnlyFans creators whose content is getting uploaded to the government websites are filing DMCA copyright strike takedowns against the government websites. And it's just a disaster. And it's amazing. It is the funniest thing ever. So it's like, so Duke would be on here being like, he was like, is your content going up there? And it's like my OnlyFeet content or some nonsense. Yeah. I always troll Duke, but I always love when he's in stream. It's weird. You know who's not here as well? Simulator Adventures. It's on the parking screens. Yeah, I saw. Yeah, so somebody sent a news report. It was like a Instagram reel or a TikTok, or I guess they just captured the news report from like CTV News or something, and they sent that around, and I was dying because I'm like, yep, we're cooked. We're basically screwed. In the midst of like all of this being burnt out on the channel, this is weird. I almost want to start another YouTube channel about something totally different that's not related to tech whatsoever. Or maybe it is in its own right, but it's not related to the channel. They would be separate entities. So I'm not promising I'm going to do that. I am going to say that if you see another YouTube channel and you see this set or you see me on it, and I'm talking about a whole bunch of stuff that you're kind of like, what the hell is this guy on? That means, yeah, I started the other channel. Jason knows what I'm talking about, the kind of content that would be. It's really related to the OnlyFeed. I'm kidding. Imagine if they hacked all the billboards around the planet, just trolled everyone with lemon party. Jesus. Control Atlas is on one right now. Take your comment off the screen. We're not doing that today. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how much more this stream's going to go. It might go another 15, 20 minutes. It might go another hour, depending on if things ramp up. If it doesn't ramp up in the next 10 minutes, I'm done at 4 p.m. Eastern because, the weather's actually nice. It was supposed to pour today, but it didn't. And I'm not going to lie. Look, I have a very busy schedule in August, and I am not streaming all the Sundays in August unless time permits. But I am looking forward to not having to be committed to it for a little bit. I'm actually weirdly, and Mark might understand this on a level, but I'm actually looking forward to the busy few weeks. I don't know why. I'm here for it. Whatever. And apparently I'm going to have another busy week, probably the week of my birthday. Mark, you rat bastard. For those who don't know, my birthday's beginning of November. And it sounds like Mark is going to go away again then. So, yeah. Fun times. Yeah, so I don't know, between hackers uploading OF content on government websites, Sony announcing that they're going to go diskless, but then have a PlayStation outage that breaks the network so you can't even use their product. Some court case this week where some judge basically said that if you legally purchased literature, AI can scrape it. That was a whole thing that happened this week. And apparently that judge is old as dirt and retired halfway through the case. The case was Anthropic versus a bunch of publishers. And I think it was like $1.5 billion was the lawsuit, but they ruled in Anthropic's favor because they're still in trouble for the pirated stuff. But they said the content that was legally purchased. So what did they say on TechLinked? It was like So let's get this straight. If you buy thousands of books legally and you rip the spine off the books and you scan it into a computer and upload it and train AI on it, it's legal because ripping the spine was transformative enough. So between all those things, we are effing cooked. We are screwed. We are completely cooked. Anybody else wondering why I'm a little burnt out on tech right now? Stuff like that. I've just been trying to focus on more positive things lately. I find that like it's kind of dystopian and hellscape-ish. And I love tech. Like when I say I love tech, let's break the camera. This poor camera has been sitting here for like a month or two. And I'm just going to take it off the plate because, yeah, I love technology overall. This is this is the same camera that I'm using to do the stream. This is my second one. Although the top of it's a little mangled. Like the top of it, look at the eye cup. Just this rubber piece broke. Oh, and like the clip to go into the, yeah, whatever. I don't use the viewfinder, so I don't really care. But like, I obsess over tech so much. Like, I love not just cameras, but like just in general. And I wanted the channel to be like an expression of that. Trotless. AI can scrape anything you want it to. Side note, installed some G6 PTZs as a client's place the other day. Solid how the AI can track and unlock doors based on your face. I wouldn't want that attached to anything to do with locking. It's funny. Jason and I were having this conversation last night. One of the things that I'm very adamant on, especially after what just happened with my garage door, which is now fixed, but I absolutely refuse to allow the big door that goes outside to be controlled by anything internet connected. Period. I don't care how secure it is. I don't want it to be a situation where I've driven 2, 3, 4 hours away, or shit, I'm in like another country entirely. And for some reason, either the network trips out, and the network does trip out. I was in Mexico. Shout out to my neighbor. I love her to death, but I was like, I told her, I think I said to her, I was like, you killed me. Here's a scenario. I might have told the story on stream before. I was in Mexico back in November. And I have some smart lights in the house that Control Atlas also assisted in installing. And what happened was there was a power outage. And it was only a flicker. It wasn't bad. But the lights, my chandelier started blinking and then it stayed on. So I'm in, was it Playa del Carmen in Mexico? And my neighbor calls me. And I'm like, yeah. More so if you're like getting out of your house and you always want to make sure that your kids don't escape the house while you're not looking. Sure. No. Hear me out. So here's what happened. Neighbor calls me. She's like, hey, no, she texted me. She's like, hey, are you home? And I'm like, not yet. Because I did ask her to keep an eye, anything. Right? I'm like, if you see the garage door open, call the cops. Right? If you see lights randomly going off, call the cops. Right? Kind of my doing. So I replied with, no, and I was literally like, my suitcase was on the bed. I was packing to come home. And she texts me. She's like, hey, are you home? And I'm like, no. So I'm like, damn it. So I pick up my phone and I'm like, I call her and she doesn't pick up. And I'm like, okay, now I'm freaking out. For the face tracking, I mean. Okay, but again, stay with me. Hold on, let me finish. Here's why I don't even care about the face tracking stuff. I couldn't give a shit either way. Here's why. So I try to call her and she doesn't pick up. And I'm like, oh, for F's sakes. Okay, no problem. Then she finally texts me back. She's like, yeah, your light's on. So I log into my cloud gateway and I'm like, oh, there was an interruption. And I have other sensors in the house that will tell me if like somebody moved. Like it doesn't trigger unlocks or stuff like that. Nobody was in the house. So I was like, okay, cool. We're good that way. And here's my problem with that. That trip out, because AI hallucinates. 2, even without AI, technology can do weird technological things. Like, I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet, but I'm reading the chat off the Chat Ninja plugin via Microsoft Edge on the prompter. That's how I'm popping the chats up on screen. So here's the thing, like, so Jerry just said, for the face tracking, I mean. Here's the problem. Edge trips out sometimes and it breaks it. Like, it will be like, we want to do an update or we'd like to send you a notification. It's like, bro, I don't need this right now. I'm trying to do something. My problem is like all this technology for like anything that controls a lock or any access to any part of my house. Stay off the internet, stay away from AI, stay away from all of it. Okay? Like, I'm sorry, but like, the only thing that will get some kind of, it's making me change my mind about something. I was going to change the deadbolt on my front door to something with like, the Apple key system or like a smart lock and key combo and a deadbolt. I'm just going to stick to the deadbolt. It works. I don't care. I don't want something tripping out and then it accidentally opens the garage door or it accidentally opens a door that accesses to the house, right? Because yes, my area is safe, but just because my area is safe doesn't mean it's not a target. So, I mean, for certain people, that's fine. If I lived in an area where there was like, it would take half an hour to get to any kind of civilization, like a grocery store or something, and I'm like the only house there, sure, all day, right? That has like access to fiber, obviously, because I'm bougie. Sure, I'll do all that. But in a house like this, where like I'm in a neighborhood, like there was something, well, there was a few things recently. Even like there was a guy who kicked down a door. My next door, not my next door, but a few doors over. The guy was like actually out of his mind, right? Like, yeah, like obviously it doesn't matter how little technology you have, but like if I don't make it somewhat accessible, and I feel like unfortunately because AI likes to hallucinate and technology can be weird at times, you know, then I just don't trust it. Control Atlas says, I completely agree, but in the back end, what is actually happening is the storage is just compiling a bank of... Listen, cool story, bro. Don't care. Compiling a bank of faces that you can assign a direct... Yeah, I get it. Don't give a shit. Like, I'll be honest, I don't even care. It's not that and don't take that to mean I'm anti-AI. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I don't care about the minutia. This is a hard no, period. Like, you can argue with me this all you want, but I'm not doing it. Refuse. Because, you know, it's even like Face ID on the phone. They say that your likeness changes your body changes every 7 years. That's what they say. The problem is, like, what are the markers? Okay, Jerry, shut up. Seriously, it's not actually the AI doing it. I don't care. Okay, but like, you're missing the point. I don't give a shit. Like, stop. Like, I don't care. I'm not doing it. Like, you can argue with me all you want. It's not going to happen. Let me give you an example. This phone has Face ID. But there are markers it uses. Like the reason it can unlock your face in the dark is because it has like a LiDAR scanner and it doesn't need light to unlock your face, which is cool. But Apple doesn't really disclose what the markers are it uses to unlock your face. Sure, but that's great, but I'm not doing it. I'm not arguing, just talking about what I know. Cool story. I'm not doing it though. Anyway, what I was saying is, like, so the markers on Face ID, I don't know what they are, and I don't think Apple's going to relinquish that information. So essentially, if I'm going to have trusted people in this database of sorts, it could hallucinate, pick the wrong person. And again, as if you were listening to what I said, if this was like a remote area where there's not a lot of people, sure. Because then I can always change it if it hallucinates. But when you're in like a fairly busy area, I'm not running that risk. And honestly, this goes back to updating software. If it ain't broke, don't fix, right? I'm not running the latest Mac OS. I'm not running Tahoe on this thing. I'm not running it on my other computer. Everything works. You know how I know everything works? Because Mark gets all my projects because everything just works, right? I might have a couple hiccups here and there that are of my own stupidity, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I think something like a door lock I hear about this all the time. People who and also you kind of have to stay on top of that. And I have enough things I need to stay on top of. So not yet. Not at this juncture. Not on this property. Later in life, sure. Is it cool? Sure. Does it change my life in a meaningful fashion that's worth spending the money in the situation I'm in? No. I ain't doing it. Period. Yeah. I get it though. I get how cool it is. I'm not debating that. I think if corporations want to use it for their deployment, sure. If they feel comfortable enough, but the difference there is that the corporation using it in their deployment has a whole IT team to manage it. If it starts hallucinating, they've got a team that can claw back on certain things, or they have someone like Control Atlas who's offering support. I'm assuming you're offering support for certain things you're doing, who can make adjustments on the back end. I'm a single dude in a single house who's got way too many things to worry about than whether or not my smart AI door is letting in random fent leaners into my house. You know what I mean? It's just kind of my thought on it. I don't want to think about that. It's like I can literally get off my lazy ass and go turn a deadbolt and double check that a door is closed. You know what I mean? So that's my reasoning, if I'm being honest. Do I think the technology is cool? Absolutely. Just ain't for me. And I say this because, let's see. And yeah, again, this isn't to downplay what you're doing at all. But I don't think for my circumstance, it makes a ton of sense. Okay, I'll give you kind of the halfway point I'll meet you at though. Smart blinds. Because the only thing that a smart blind, if it hallucinates, the only thing it's going to do is show somewhere that you want private to the people outside. So for example, I would put smart blinds on my dining room / living room, maybe the back door, right? And maybe the windows surrounding the house. Sure. With the exception of my bedroom. Because ain't nobody trying to see all this. Right? But again, for me to open the blinds in my bedroom is to get up, do this. Right? Now, if I wanted a situation where, I don't know, if I had a movie going on upstairs, or better yet, say I brought the camera upstairs and I wanted to control the light in that room, so I had to shoot something, to pull out my phone and trigger SIRI and say, filming upstairs, or whatever the keyword shortcut I make it. If I'm I need it blacked out, then it closes all the blinds in the surrounding area and makes the room pitch black so I can introduce my own lighting. Totally cool with that. Because if the AI hallucinates in that instance, well, the worst you're going to see is my living room from the street. You're not going to see how to get into the house. You're not going to have access to the house outside of seeing, And plus, my upstairs and all that's elevated, so you'd have to, from outside, you have to, look up almost, right? So, yeah. In those instances, I'll meet you there. I'll be okay, smart blinds and that are cool. But, stuff that can engage and disengage access to my property, and not to say that my area is rough, because my area is pretty good. Not far from my area, I just made a comment about fent leaners. Yeah, my city is having some problems, and it's kind of seeping everywhere. So I don't want to run that risk. That's just, but I'll meet you halfway. Smart blinds, dope. That's a convenience thing where it's okay, my hands are full of equipment and I'm trying to wire stuff up, and I have to take a look at how the lighting looks on me when I'm sitting in front of the camera. Oh, but the kitchen light is flying into the room or whatever. But it'd be easier if you can just pull out a phone and whatever. Or if even for creature comfort of okay, I'm going to watch a movie. And I kind of want the whole room to be dark, right? So smart thing, closes all the blinds. If it hallucinates, then I get up and go close the blind manually, right? That's fine. Yeah. I'm surprised the usual suspects aren't here. I'm surprised Duke didn't make it in. I bring this up because, even though I've said it all month, Duke is going to text me and be like, hey, what happened to your stream? It's August. And I'd be like, dude, like you were here for weeks when we said that we weren't doing the stream. So, yeah. But Control Atlas, like your implementation of things looks dope. I think for very complex infrastructure for some businesses, some personal, depending on the scope of what the customer wants to do, I think it's crazy. And I'm here for it. Like, I'm here for what you're doing. But obviously, for myself, it's going to be a very junior version. So, Control Atlas, my street, I have a halfway house down the road, so I have a consistent train of Fenty walkers from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Yeah. And if AI for some reason identifies a marker that is you, but it's not actually you, and then gives access to your personal property, that's a problem. I don't trust AI enough for that. Like, it's kind of like the software development thing, because I literally built a piece of software for my own YouTube stuff that I think is amazing. But I built it with AI. I vibe coded it, if you want to call it that. Well, yeah, it's exactly what it was. I vibe coded it because I don't know how to program. But I won't release it to the public, not because, like, I'm trying to gatekeep it. That's not why I won't release it. I won't release it because, one, it works for me, and there might be some inherent flaws with it. Two, if it doesn't work for somebody else, I'm going to be expected to support it, which leads to number three. I don't have time to support it. I don't even have time to manage the AI that's trying to unlock the front door. You get what I'm saying? So, like, nah, I don't, I think AI is amazing. I think it serves a lot of really good purpose. And I think if you're willing to do the work, even in the vibe coding space, nothing wrong with that. I have no problem with that. I just personally, and I think one of the beautiful things we have in this world is choice. We have the choice as to whether or not, like, for example, Mark, who's in the chat, recently, about a year ago, just over a year ago, he's got a new place. Wonderful place. Amazing place. Okay, but again, hang on. Common confusion. There's a lot of AI in my There's not a lot of AI in my software. I just have backend AI that helps create. Yeah, that's fine. A client with whatever questions they have about the industry. Sure, but I'm not really talking about AI anymore. It's about, like, and that's your software, but that's for your clients. I'm not that client. I'm not that guy. I'm just talking about just in general. Like I was just mentioning, Mark has a nice house. And what's dope is choice. Did a renovation recently, bought a new TV, needed better Wi-Fi. So I helped assist with that a little bit, and it works. And he got to choose the price point. He got to choose what he wanted. He got to choose all that, right? Not my place to figure out. Sorry, the iPad's doing something weird here. One moment. There we go. It's like, I think for him, what he chose works for him. If I think that he needs more, I'll tell him. But for my house, I wouldn't use the same thing. And that's not to say that what he bought was wrong. It's choice. That's the beautiful thing about just all of this, is it's all choice. No, I know it was delayed. You sent that a while ago, but I did read it on stream. It was just, no, it wasn't delayed. It wasn't delayed. It was flagged by YouTube. So that's why it seemed delayed on your end. It was flagged by YouTube. Because I can't remember which comment it was that got, it doesn't matter. Anyway, what I'm saying is, something got flagged, which pushed your comments all over the place, because YouTube is hilarious, because they use AI for everything and AI hallucinates, so things go completely wrong. Anyway, but I'm not digging at your software. I'm just talking about choice. I think it's beautiful that we can make the choices, that make us comfortable, right? So, like, where one customer might love all that automation, there are certain things I love the automation of, like this YouTube set. but I also, it doesn't phone to any kind of cloud to do it. I'm literally running Homebridge, like a hack, not a hack, that's the wrong way to put it. I'm running Homebridge and custom scripts. So even if, my internet goes down, I could still turn everything on and off, right? And then when I say turn everything on and off, I'm referring to this whole YouTube setup. I know that I have the, what do they call it? The Casa, the Lutron system. That's for different lights. But these lights, not even close. They're all on like smart plugs that are running through Homebridge. They're not running through anything on the internet. As long as my network is up, even if I pull the, what's it called? The SFP for my fiber, even if I pull my internet out, or if it gets chopped at the curb, I could still control this room, But that was my choice, right? I could have done it where it's all reliant on HomeKit or reliant on Google Home or reliant on whatever. But I chose this, right? And I think the reason I threw my arms up and I doubled down on my no smart lock is because, like, I have friends. I hear you, keeping it local is always the best. But that's for me. Some people prefer everything be remotely automated. And some people, even knowing that Google's taking all your personal information, is happy with that. There's some people that are just like, look, Google's stealing everything anyway, so who cares? And you know what? I can understand where that narrative comes from. I'm not against that. But for me, that's my opinion. So I like the idea that we have choice. And I think that's why the Sony thing pisses me off. I'm going back to the title topic for a second. Because, like, if I don't have the choice to buy a disc, you're handcuffing me to my internet connection. But if I'm in an area where my internet's lousy, or if I'm in use your word, Sean. If I'm in an area where your internet is fantastic, but Sony's network goes down, I'm beholden to your dumbass decision, Sony. Like, what is this? Like, no, this is dumb. So, I've had friends of mine who are like, yeah, I have one of those LiftMaster smart garage doors, and it didn't tell me when I was on the road, but it opened itself. And when I checked the log, it was like, yeah, it opened itself. Like, it's been open for 5 hours. And most people who have access to the house from the garage, like I do. So, like, for those who don't know, when I walk into my garage, there's a door, and I have a deadbolt on that door and a key on the other side to lock said deadbolt. But when I'm running out of the house, do you think that I'm constantly pulling my key out and locking that deadbolt? This is where you say, yeah, you should get a smart lock for it. Too much to worry about. Here's my thought on it. So if I don't lock that deadbolt, I jump into my car, I get in the car, I pull out of the garage, I hit the button, and I always do this. I wait for the door to close fully before I leave. 1, so I can see if there's traffic coming back and forth, and 2, for my own peace of mind. But if I had a smart garage opener and it opened itself, that deadbolt going into the house isn't locked. And it's like, okay, so I'm going to buy a piece of technology to control that door. And as a circumvention, in case the thing trips out, I'm going to spend more money on a deadbolt. Like a smart deadbolt. Nobody else sees the problem with that, because I just think that's extra and excess, right? Versus, I don't let some router or smart switch or something trip out. I've had nights where sometimes I've came down here, even with this setup, and only my key light's on. And I'm like, why did that turn on? It's not even connected to the internet. It's just technology does technology things. Oh, what happened was the ad, so I was 40 seconds behind. I'm like, why is he getting upset with me about what I'm saying, even though I was talking at the correct time? You need that YouTube Premium, son. You need to get on that YouTube Premium, so that way I get better, I get better revenue share. Pay me! Yeah. Sorry about your ears. Yeah. Control Atlas. Just, I'm not mad at you. You kept it from my vantage point, is like you were doubling down. And I'm like, no. I'm not changing my opinion on this. So, yeah. The good old, There's something up with YouTube because I'm watching the stream on my iPad. It is way behind, but like I'm pushed all the way live. It does this sometimes. And then every time I bring this up and I reload it, it's like perfectly fine. Or not playing. Okay, hang on. I'm going to kill the mic for a sec because I want to see if this is actually broken. Give me 1 second. Every time I mention the delay, YouTube fixes itself. But it was way behind just now. That's so funny. The clankers are out to get us, everybody. It's a whole thing. So it sounds like, yeah, just it's me and Control Atlas talking. I can just call him. I'm probably gonna get off stream. Because I know Jason was here, Mark's here, but they're both busy doing their own thing. There's 4 people in. It's probably us 4, to be honest. I don't blame people for not coming to the stream. You know, in most of the world, it's summertime right now. So there's that. And Sundays are just what they are. But I'll probably, well, like I said, I'll be back in September 6th. That's the first Sunday of September, I believe. If there's a chance to randomly stream, it might not even be on a Sunday, but sometime in August, if like the opportunity comes up and there's like a really good topic I really want to talk about and, you know, all the stars align as it were, then yeah, I'll come back on. I'm probably just going to jump off stream though and go enjoy the rest of this Sunday because I am counting even though I'm looking forward to the assignment in August, you know, I'm working on stuff in the office, so I'm able to watch and chat. Oh, fair enough. Well, Control, I'm going to call you shortly, so take a break for a sec. I'm not going to stay on with you long because I actually am going to go and enjoy some of this weather. And we are going to reconvene. At the latest, I will see you in September. At the earliest, I'll see you some random time in August. And also, if a video goes up and you want to comment on that, feel free. That's that for the stream today. Thank you so much. I am going to be back. The hiatus for August starts as soon as I end the stream, which is now. My name is Sean. Shout out to Jason Rowe. Shout out to Mark Harnum. Shout out to Control Atlas. Shout out to those who couldn't make it, like Simulator Adventures, Duke Seb, Michael O'Cunningham, who I saw he's been posting on Instagram lately, Hassan Niz, whole bunch of people, man. Euro Nation, who's not here right now. Just, yeah, bunch of people. I can't name everybody off the top of my head, but shout out to you guys for supporting as always, even though a lot of you couldn't be here because everybody got lives and I get it. So I'm getting on out of here. My name is Sean. This has been Tech Mixer and I'm out. Peace.